Canal International. Canal International.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the news on Canal de English. We are glad to know you're out there watching. My name is Lesley Fombuh and these are the major stories. The Mezem High Court has released the former mayor of the Tuba Council after 1 year on a waiting trial for purported accusations of corruption and embezzlement. Land Transport Trade Union are planning to launch a strike action which might affect consumers of fuel all over the national territory. The union is calling for a reduction in fuel prices in the country. Today, Thursday, October 29, is being observed as World Stroke Awareness Day. The sickness is said to have caused physical disability and has killed so many people. Cameroon's amateur national football team have traveled to Congo, where they must beat their host in Saturday to hope to qualify for the 2016 African Nations Championship, a tournament reserved for home-based players. Those were the headlines. We bring you details in a jiffy. Good evening once more and welcome back. 2 trucks have capsized on the National Road number 1 linking Ngaoundéré to Garwa. The second truck somersaulted in an attempt to pull the other truck from a trench. The accident is said to have intercepted the smooth circulation of trucks on the road. The road is currently being rehabilitated. Like we announced in the headlines, Land Transport Trade Union are planning to launch a strike action which might affect consumers of fuel all over the national territory. The unionists are disgruntled with the current fuel prices and are calling on government to regularize the situation. Joel Ndumbo has been investigating that story.
First, there is the problem of fuel prices.
When the price increase in the international market, the price should increase in the petrol station. Now that the price are decreasing minus 75%, why does the same price remain the same in the petrol station?
Then, the ever-pending presence of clandestine drivers.
Those who don't have rights to come and do our work, they are. When you look at the road now, there are many, there are even more than us, and we want our profession to be protected.
The answer to grievance number 2 definitely sleeps somewhere here at the Ministry of Transport, where we were asked to write an emergency request for an interview with the person in charge of this question. That we did. A demand which, just like many files in our public services, suffered bureaucracy. At the end, the head of the communication office gave us these 2 communiques. The first, issued on the 5th of May 2015, urging clandestine drivers to cease activities and requesting more custodian checks and controls on our roads. Few days later, the then Minister of Transport, Robert Kili, signed this release, making public recommendations for the legalization of minibuses and vans for urban transportation. A clear indication that the problem raised by transport trade unions is a reality well known of the government. On why the unchanged price of fuel at filling stations, to the director in charge of price control vehemently refuted to receive us. As for the director of internal trade in question, this is what he had to say.
It is my colleague who was in charge of this file.
While bureaucracy and inconsistency govern those indicated to spotlight on this matter, the transport sector has this ultimatum to make.
I'm just asking them to come and discuss with us because we have a proposition to give them. If not, there will be a strike on 16th of November 2015.
By the time this reporter was concluding the report, a request for an interview at the Ministry of Transport was somewhere still hanging. Where? One can never tell.
Now, like we announced in the headlines, the Mezem High Court has released the former mayor of the Tuba Council after 1 year on a waiting trial for purported accusations of corruption and embezzlement. In a recent ruling, the presiding judge reportedly found no evidence to back the accusations. We have details on that story. Courtesy reporter in Yaoundé, Annie Collins Annie.
A jubilant crowd defied the night and took to the streets of Bambui in Mezam Division to welcome the former incarcerated mayor of the Tuba Council after the Mezam High Court in Bamenda set him free in an embezzlement case that has been running for 1 year.
We were charged for embezzlement of council funds for building permits, which you know that the duties of the mayor and that of the municipal treasurer are incompatible. The mayor is the judge of opportunity and the municipal treasurer is judge of regularity. In other words, the mayor issues collection order for revenue to be collected by the municipal treasurer and signs council vouchers for payment, and he collects and pays. So the mayor does not collect revenue. So you cannot be embezzling what you collect.
The court judge found no evidence of embezzlement from any reports of an audit, thereby not possible for any facts to be laid bare on the table.
At the end of the prosecution case, defense counsel, amongst whom I was one, decided to rest their case. Reason being that the case of the prosecution was porous, it was unfounded, so there was no audit report to the effect that the actual sum was misappropriated. The prosecution witnesses never stated with any certainty as to the amount of money that was misappropriated.
The outgoing SDO for Mezam, Felix Ngelengele, had earlier disbanded an audit team for being wrongly constituted. The SDF party, to which Mr. Sofa Stanislaus belongs, immediately posted vanguards to the compound of the freedman to control the influx of sympathizers. The political tussle in the Tuba electoral district of the opposition SDF party promises to be strong, as militants and sympathizers of the freed former mayor had pointed accusing fingers to the sitting mayor, Tanjong Martin, who spat on the face of the SDF party during election of mayors.
Now, Cameroon's business climate still needs improvements to become sufficiently friendly. That's the viewpoint of the World Bank. The Bretton Woods Institution, in its 2015 Doing Business report, ranked Cameroon 172 out of 189 countries. Ntaike Divine has more on that story.
Efforts by the government at parading Cameroon as an investment-friendly nation have been dealt another severe blow. The World Bank's latest Doing Business report ranks the country 172 out of 189 countries evaluated worldwide. That's a 4-place slump from last year when Cameroon ranked 168th. According to the grading rendered public Wednesday, Cameroon has made only very little or no progress at all in simplifying conditions for the creation of enterprises. Elsewhere, authors of the report blamed the stubbornly tough conditions for obtaining building permits, cumbersome taxation, difficult access to loans, and challenging access to electrical energy, among others. The classification places Cameroon far behind the likes of Ghana, ranked 114th, Côte d'Ivoire 142nd, and Burkina Faso on position number 152. Economists agree Cameroon's poor grading will leave foreign investors thinking twice before considering the country as an investment destination. The World Bank has published the Doing Business report annually since 2003 with the goal of helping countries fast-track reforms aimed at improving their business climates.
We now take this note. The 2016 budget of Cameroon might experience an increase from 3.7 billion last year to 4,000 billion this year. The projection was made by Cameroon's Minister of Finance, Alamin Ousmane Meh, during a cabinet meeting that took place today in Yaoundé. The meeting was presided at by Prime Minister and Head of Government, Philemon Yang, who called on the new government ministers to take their jobs seriously. We now take this other story. Small and medium-sized enterprises have confronted banks amidst their ailing financial situations. As Cameroon charts Vision 2035, they are hoping to grab finances to join the development brain. We have details courtesy Kejang Henry.
Financing small and medium-sized enterprises in Cameroon remains an uneasy equation to solve. With the very appalling financial situation, small and medium-sized industries continue to remain frail in a competing economic climate where major industries are obliged to subcontract with the very few that can provide quality services. And so they wind out 2 years after creation.
The main point of this convention signed today is just to make our small business enterprises to gain funds from bankers to finance activities. We have negotiated also the rate of credit from these bankers to help them to empower their competitiveness. This convention will help small business enterprises to empower their capacity concerning the tools that they use to make their activity, and also help them to finance some projects that they have to realize.
With the wide palette of infrastructural development going on in Cameroon, small and medium-sized enterprises are still to carve a niche for their own due to unhealthy financial situation. And despite the creation of a bank for small and medium-sized enterprises, the situation is far from being abated. And so to arrest the situation, small and medium-sized enterprises were brought face to face with major banks to broker a financial protocol. This to help them come out from the fringes of economic hardship. The Chastin debate produced startling revelations that more than 1.7 billion francs CFA has already transited the small and medium-sized bank created just recently and leaving nothing in the coffers. Subcontractors are already worried about the situation and have expressed fears that the Bank for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises can only be another political scam if what is out to do cannot produce the desired result.
Now, today, Thursday, October 29, is being observed as a World Stroke Awareness Day. The sickness is said to have caused physical disability and has killed so many people. Here in Douala, the Cameroon Stroke Awareness Association is on a sensitization meeting, like you'll discover in the following report by Oscarine Ngowo.
This lady is suffering from stroke. Her physical capacities have been reduced, making life unbearable for her. According to the World Health Organization, people suffer from stroke after every 5 seconds in the world. It is the third cause of mortality worldwide.
We'd like to thank you for your time or having decided to be with us today. We would like to say that because stroke is something that is not well known yet in the world, and particularly in Cameroon, we are sensitizing on the accident, because it is an accident. You have factors that could lead to the stroke. And you also have signs of alert signs that will show you that it could be a stroke. So our fight or our battle is to let people know that the stroke could be prevented.
Research has proven that 1 out of 6 people worldwide will have a stroke in their lifetime. The Cameroon Stroke Vigilance Association is trying to create awareness on this sickness, informing the population that it can be avoided with a healthy lifestyle. Some of the causes of it are stress, chronic alcoholism, diabetes, obesity, and the like. Stroke does not come suddenly. There are signs and symptoms which serve as alert signals, like heaviness of the part of the body, sudden loss of vision in both eyes, dizziness, and more. If confronted to any of these risk factors, do not hesitate to rush to the hospital.
Now, a free antenatal consultation and a test for pregnant women is underway in the capital city, Yaoundé. The 4-day campaign is aimed at encouraging good health practices and maternal mortality. This is in line with the World Day for Life celebrated tomorrow, October 30th. We have details on that story, courtesy reporter in Yaoundé, Beatrice Ngamo.
These pregnant women are here for the free consultations and antenatal examinations organized in some hospitals and laboratory around the town of Yaoundé. Initiative of the Humanitarian Association Special Program for Pregnant Women as part of activities to mark World Day of Life. It aims at pushing the powers that be to institute free cesarean sections, antenatal consultations and examinations for pregnant women who, during this period, are very fragile. According to the promoter, Francois Ekinde, in Cameroon, some 782 women out of 100,000 dies while giving life, that is, during delivery. Blames largely on the absence of consultations some cannot afford, which a pregnant woman needs at least 4 before she is due for delivery. The free campaign underway at the Medical Center of the Advanced Police Academy in Yaoundé and a laboratory at the Nguso neighborhood is to encourage good health, help women and families without financial means get better health facilities also, and so curb maternal mortality, which the promoter says is higher than road accidents. The 4-day free consultation and examination campaign is under the theme, Men Families Always Allow Pregnant Women Carry on their consultation. Very important for the health of the mother and the child.
Now, pastors of the Evangelical Church in Cameroon have met in an ecumenical service to pray for the restoration of peace in the church. This comes after clashes between the men of God over who was to control a lucrative parish here in Douala. We have details on that story with Oscar Ringo.
With hands lifted up in one accord, 200 pastors of the Evangelical Church of Cameroon in Vuri met to pray for peace amongst them in the different churches this day at the centenary in Aqua. This reconciliatory mass was organized to ask God to intervene and put an end to all the quarrels which have been taking place in the churches for a few weeks now. For some time now, pastors have not been able to cohabit. This situation caused the doors of the churches to be closed on several occasions, destabilizing the church and some Christians. One after the other, pastors took the microphone to exhort each other. This is a strong signal to show that a new era has come in the evangelical churches of Cameroon.
Cameroon's amateur national football team have traveled to Congo, where they must beat their host country on Saturday to hope to qualify for the 2016 African Cup of African Championships tournament reserved for home-based players. Divine Taike throws more light on that story.
Cameroon's intermediary national football selection has left the country for Brazzaville, where they confront their Congolese counterparts this weekend in a decisive qualifier for the 2016 African Nations Championships, the CHAN, built for Rwanda. Both sides settled on a 0-all tie in the away leg game enacted last October 18 at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium in Yaoundé. Saturday's clash between the Central African neighbors was initially slated for October 25, but was delayed because of last weekend's constitutional amendment referendum in Congo. Coach Martin Tungumpile, who has made substantial adjustments to the selection, says generally optimism is sky high among the players who are hungry to snatch a ticket for the tournament slated to span January 16 to February 16, 2016. Captained by goalkeeper Hugo Patrick Nyame, the squad essentially comprises home-based players in keeping with the rules governing the CHAN. 14 out of the 16 participating nations at the tourney are now known, including heavyweights of the caliber of Tunisia, the DR Congo, and Morocco. The list will be completed after the Cameroon versus Congo and the Ghana versus Cote d'Ivoire showdowns this weekend.
Now, China has ended its decade-long one-child policy that was instituted in 1979. Couples are now allowed to have 2 children. The controversial policy was to slow population growth in that country, and it's estimated 400 million births have been prevented so far. Well, televiewers, it is on that note that we come to the end of the newscast on Canal de English. On behalf of the production crew, it's goodbye. Thanks for your kind attention.